Hi guys, my name is Allie and I'm with Deep Stop Scuba. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about Discover Scuba programs and like resort diving programs and things like that. So we've got a couple fun guests with us today that I'm going to bring out right now. So this is Danny. He is with Good Life Divers. Hey Danny.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? What are you
Good.
drinking tonight? Anything?
I have a tea.
Oh.
I'm going into work tonight.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've got actually Redbreast whiskey from my good friend Kyle, who's leaving us for Florida soon. He's an instructor with us, so thank you so much, Kyle. Here is Nicole with Super Dive NYC.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Are you drinking anything tonight?
Herbal tea.
My God. All right.
Got a bunch of teetotalers here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bunch of dive professionals.
Alrighty, and we have Luis and Sean from the Catalina Islands in Costa Rica. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Very good.
You guys good? You guys drinking anything tonight?
We do have some lovely Imperials,
Costa Rican beers.
local Costa Rican beer.
I missed
It
that.
is the World Cup day, so.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Like I said, we're here to talk about some Discover Scubas. So, did you guys want to say anything more about yourselves before we started? No? Okay. So, have you guys ever, as a student, taken a Discover Scuba program? Nicole?
I think so.
You think so?
It was 17, 16 years ago. But I think I did. I think I did like a try scuba in the pool, not like a Discover Scuba.
Okay. How was it?
It was fun. It was quick. They just put it on.
Yeah. Okay. Danny, have you ever participated in a scuba discovery?
Nope, not as a participant. I went straight to open water.
Okay. What about you guys? Down where it's warm?
Today. I did it today, actually.
Have you ever done one before you were certified? Did you do a Discover Scuba?
Oh, I thought you was asking we have before I was certified. Not really.
No,
Me neither. I went right into open water.
I didn't either.
Sorry,
Okay,
I didn't get your question.
It's okay.
have you guys have all led one? I'm assuming. So, I guess I just want to know how you guys have done Discover Scubas in the past, or how you currently do them. How they've gone, what depth you usually go to, and where you tend to do them the most. So, Luis, do you want to start?
Okay. Where I do it the most? What's your question?
Yeah, where do you do them and what
Condition?
depth, what conditions?
Well, first, right now we go to the pool first the day before. We do the pool in the afternoon, and then we go to the ocean. But it depends of the day because there are some people who they don't want to do the pool. They feel confident and they want to go straight to the ocean. So it depends.
And there's a variety of locations. Some of them are super shallow and chill, but the conditions change a lot here, so it can change on a moment's notice, I guess you'd say. So we have an area that's very pool-like, but it sometimes can change quickly, which is one of the problems.
It's the Pacific.
Yeah, it's the Pacific. So
Yeah.
It goes day by day.
Cool. Um, and how deep do you usually do those when you go out into the ocean?
How did you? I would say here they're usually 20, 30 feet.
Okay, cool. And what agency are you guys teaching through?
I'm SDI, and
I'm Patty, an SCI instructor.
Cool. All right. What about you, Nicole? What do you do? Discover Scubas? Do you teach them in New York City?
The last time I think I did, okay, I think I used to do them a lot when I worked at a resort in Cozumel. Those were like all the time. And then I think the last time I did it was we did like an educational festival a few years ago, trying to connect more people to diving. So that was like 2 years ago. It was called Dive with Pride, and we were trying to celebrate Pride Month by offering free Discover Scuba. And then the second time we ran that event, we actually got rid of Discover Scuba, and we did Scuba Diver. So yeah, I don't do them. I don't do them anymore. There's not so much. I do like try scuba in the pool in New York though. So
Cool. And I don't know if you said what agency are you with?
I'm Nowie.
Okay.
My
Cool.
patty is lapsing in December.
And what about you, Danny?
So I've never done an official Discover Scuba. The only Discover Scubas we've ever done were in pool. I've never, actually, that's a lie. I've taken my brother-in-law and his wife out as a Discover Scuba. But other than that, everything's been in the pool, and we do a tremendous amount of those.
My brother-in-law and his wife.
Cool. So when you guys have done Discover Scubas in the past, how did they go? Did you have any problems with them? Did they go smoothly? Tell me about some that stick out in your mind.
you want to go, Luis? Luis has done a ton of Discover Scubas. I know that. So and they vary quite a bit here. We get sometimes I think they're great for the sport where you introduce somebody to scuba and they get out of the water and they're like, I want to take lessons. I want to become a scuba diver, and they're all in. But if I've seen incidents where they're not done properly, and it does just the opposite, it can easily have the opposite effect, scare the hell out of people, and they don't want to do diving. They never want to do it again. So it depends on how it's done. But there's definitely, I've never had any major issues on ones I've done. I've only did one when I was up in New York, but I have done them here quite a bit, and I've had people that do okay in the pool, and then they get out there, and it's the open water, and they stick their face under, and they're just like, nope, and that's it. And we get back on the boat, and they're done. So, but I haven't had any incidents where people go wrong. Anything goes wrong, but we're one-on-one for the most part, maybe two-on-one. So you have a lot of control over those people, and you can really keep a close eye on them, always in contact, really. So, Luis, what about you?
Oh.
Do you have any incidents?
Well, no, and I hope I won't happen. No. I try to make it safe, and if they try it in the ocean, that is the most dangerous part here in the Pacific. If they cannot do it, if they feel very anxious because they choose to do it that way, I just tell them go to the boat. Or if they want to keep trying it, I still tell them that the first dive, if it's in the ocean, the first dive is just for them to relax and stay calm. We are like psychologists as well. So yeah, and if they cannot, they go back to the ocean. And if it's in the pool, I think from my experience, right away if they are gonna be good or bad in the ocean.
I will also say I've had way more incidents, dangerous incidents with certified scuba divers than I've had with Discover Scuba divers.
That's fair. Nicole, what about you? Is there anything that has stuck out for you from your Discover Scubas, like in Cozumel or anything like that?
Well, here in New York, I obviously don't do them so much. So not really much to talk about there. Um, when I was in Cozumel, I did get, the vacation crowd that just wanted to get into the water. So, I mean, I commend that. I think it's cool to just want to get into the water. I think it has its role in the sport for sure. But I do remember this was like I was straight out of my instructor course and I had a family. I think the ratio was like 1 to 4. But I just remember um, I was like holding 4 people with like one person with my knees, and oh my gosh, it was a shit show. Um, yeah, there was four
Was was
people.
was that
Yeah,
them or you?
um, all, all of the above. I think I did a good job considering that I was fresh, but I was pretty competent. I'm not gonna. Um, I was pretty good at problem solving, but I didn't like the fact that I was even in that situation. Um,
I think if you have more than 2 people, there's no way to. If somebody has a problem, you're screwed.
yeah, I was still like really young, and my employer was like, "Oh, we do these all the time. Just go and take these 4 people." And yeah, it was
That happens here all the time, also.
yeah,
That there's employers that are like, "Oh, you can take 4, you can take 5, it's fine." I'm like, no, it's not.
yeah. So
But they definitely take advantage of people who are working and it's their job and it's the boss and hey, I need you to take these 4 people out for Discover Scuba. Well, that's too many. Well, you have to do it,
yeah,
and it's tough for people who that's your livelihood and your boss is telling you have to do it.
yeah,
But it's not safe.
yeah. I was tending to 4 people with 2 hands. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny,
Yeah.
what about you? Have you done any try dives or anything like that you think they went well? Anything that sticks out?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be in the pool with me, it's going to go well. I mean, it's just basically kind of a given. So,
I've
no,
had
I
some
mean,
bad pool.
yeah, I can't say that I've had a bad pool session. I mean, we're in a pool, and you're with me, so I mean, like, it's gonna be a fantastic experience. So, sorry, I don't know.
I did have somebody when I was in New York for a pool session that signed up and was afraid of the water. That was an interesting event. They couldn't
I
even
Well,
get
stick their face in the water.
technically, like those aren't actually experiences because they never actually went underwater on scuba.
True,
So
true, true,
yeah,
true.
so if you can't swim, which we've had those people, they show up, they can't swim, they haven't got underwater, so technically they haven't blemished my record. So there's that.
Amazing. So, one of you guys had said the difference between having a Discover Scuba that goes well and having one that doesn't go well. What do you think is the difference? Do you think it's the skills you do? Is it just purely the person or the conditions, or what do you think?
if they come back.
That's how I categorize open
I
water
couldn't
dive.
hear the question.
They
Sorry.
come back, we're good.
So you want to know whether they, if it was a good, what you consider a good Discover Scuba, what you consider bad? Is that what?
Yeah, or what contributes to making a Discover Scuba a good experience or a poor experience?
I think the person's attitude, right? I mean, you get somebody who's excited about it and listens to you and does what they're told is huge. I mean, let's be honest, it's not super tough. They just have to breathe. You control most everything else, uh, but there's people who just don't listen to it. It's just the same as open water divers. Don't touch anything. Oh, I'm gonna go pet the shark. You know, that makes for a bad day. So I think it's the people's attitude, but conditions can definitely affect it. Here we can have awesome visibility one day, and a couple hours later you can have zero visibility. So that can obviously some days like that. No, it's just ridiculous. And it's tough for people when they're only down here for 5 days and they have one day that they can go for a dive and the conditions go to hell when we go out there. That's your only option. So it's a bad experience for them, even if they don't have a actual bad experience. Right? You agree?
Yeah. And most of the time they do scuba for them.
Yeah. They tend to leave scuba till a day before, so they just have enough time to fly out. And then if the conditions go bad, they miss out on experience, or they ride out an hour out on a boat and don't go in, and then they had a bad experience. Not that anything necessarily went wrong.
Yeah. What about the people who are like really, really excited? They have a good attitude, and it's just like not working out for them. You ever had students like that?
Well,
Yes,
what do you mean?
I
Like,
mean
how
both
would
in. Go
What?
ahead, start again.
so like what do you mean? Like, how would a student not be good for Discover Scuba? Like,
Like
or
they're having problems. They're like really excited, and maybe they're like, I don't know. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot.
You
I've
can't
seen
clear
a
their
lot.
ears.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a guy who was obsessed with sharks. I'm talking like he had his own small business that he named after sharks, and sharks was his whole life. And his biggest goal in life was to scuba dive with sharks. And then I think we went to Dutch Springs, which is a quarry out here, and I think he couldn't go past like 8 feet because he just would look up and he's like, "It's too deep," and his brain really wanted to do it, so we worked with him for a long, long time. But his goal was not meant to be. So that's the most difficult. Is when somebody is so excited that it's going to change their life, and then you know, you know,
It's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
I think that's a good example.
Yeah.
That is. So
And,
what do
and I
you?
think that does happen a lot. We get a lot of people who they party a little too hard the night before, and they get out there and they're seasick and they feel like crap and they don't want to go in the water, or they get in the water and like you said, they get under it and they're like 3 feet under and they're like, nope, this is too deep. I'm like, your hair's barely under the water, But people sometimes are their own worst enemy. So they think they want to go down, but when they get under there, it's a little scary for them. So
Yeah,
we try to talk to them and make it as relaxed as they can. And if they want to do it, they can call it at any time. They want to get out and get on the boat. That's fine.
yeah.
So it's fun for them.
So what do you guys think that we could add to a Discover Scuba that would like improve it or make people more prepared?
here we go.
I'll
Go
tell
ahead.
you.
We're waiting.
Danny
Make
knows.
it longer and make it an actual certification course. Is that what you're gonna say, Nicole?
It's not that much longer. Okay, it's the same amount of time. So literally, if you just complete a few hours of e-learning, or if you have a dive professional, at least I don't know how you guys' agencies work, but in NAUI, you can do your own classroom presentation. It does have to be thorough, but it doesn't have to be e-learning. Um, and then you go and you do the same exact amount of skills, almost, and plus CISA, and then you get a card forever. That's scuba diver level, which is the level right before open water. So your client gets to come back using that card that they already have. Um, so that's my pitch. That's what you could add. You can add a card, and you can add a little bit of academics.
Many questions.
Yes. Is that for
So,
me or for Allie?
for yourself, you're the one pitching this ridiculous idea. So, with how many pool sessions are they doing after however long of e-learning they're taking?
There's well, I do like one long pool session.
So, like, how many hours?
I do 4 hours and then 4 to 5 hours in the
So 4 to 5 hours. So and then how many open water dives would they need to do in order to get the scuba diver cert?
Two.
So they
Two.
have to do 2.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the same thing then.
Well,
Yeah.
so on our end, it's always 2 dives because you're out on the boat for 2 dives.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go on the boat with the certified divers out to the dive location, and you're doing. If you're a Discover Scuba, you're doing 2 dives.
It's a bit harder at Beach 8th Street to do 2 dives, but yeah, 2 dives.
I still think you're bringing up 2 completely different things, especially for like, all right, if you're in Costa Rica or you're in this tropical location, all right, maybe it's not that crazy to ask somebody to do a 3-4 hour e-learning session, which for a scuba
People
diver
don't want to
session,
do it.
no, nobody wants to do it. I'm just trying to play devil's
I
advocate.
mean,
Here.
you could also do a classroom session, a super thorough classroom session, which is what I do with my
That's
summer camp kids.
that's what I want to do on vacation. I want to go and sit for a 4 or
That's the
5
problem.
I
hour
wouldn't sit with you,
classroom.
but I would sit with me.
I'm going to be far more entertaining. So I don't yeah, I just what you propose is basically just taking the scuba diver course, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you're proposing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to do that on vacation. I
Well,
want
it
to
doesn't have
go.
to be boring. It doesn't have to be like a classroom and a
It
chalkboard.
doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
These people have their entire vacation booked. I have one afternoon where I can go out there. It's hard to get them in the pool. It is
Yeah.
really hard to get people. People will show up at the shop and be like, I want to do Discover Scuba. Okay, tomorrow afternoon we can go in the pool and then you can go in the open water next day. Oh, tomorrow, well, how long in the pool? Well, it depends on how well you do. You just got to go through a couple skills. No, I can't fit in. They don't want to. People do not want to go in the pool at all. They just want to go. I just want to go in the ocean. Can I just go in the ocean? They don't want to
Yeah,
do e-learning.
well,
They don't
we're
want to
talking
do
like
anything.
totally different markets, right? Like
True.
I'm probably never gonna get that kind of person over here.
No, in New York, I worked in New York, and like I said, I took one guy out for an actual Discover Scuba besides the pool discoveries which we did. It's just not a thing there.
Yeah.
But
You're also
you
just
want to
missing
try
the
it, go in the
point.
pool.
You're missing the whole point of what a Discover Scuba is meant to be. It's meant to be an introduction. It's meant to be, hey, this is exactly what you need to know for this really short period of time. You're going to have somebody at arm's length away from you the entire time. See if you like it before you invest money, before you invest time in actually getting certified. And let's see how it goes. That's what it's meant for. It's not meant to create these great divers that are going to go on to become open water divers. That's eventually what the goal is, but it's not necessarily exactly what it's designed for.
It just gets their foot in the door.
A lot of it is, I don't know if I'm even going to like this. This lets you know. Because you can go in the pool all you want. It's a different animal when you go in the ocean.
FYI, I think that the minimum standards for the scuba diver course in my agency, I think, is 5 hours, which I have to take a look exactly. Don't quote me on that. And standards department, if you're watching this, I don't have the thing in front of me, but it doesn't have to be that long and crazy. If you just do a super thorough briefing, which is also just the minimum amount of information that I want somebody knowing anyways, going out with me. But yeah, like I said, that's my choice here in New York. If I were trying to compete with the other resort people who are, taking on these people and providing that service super quick, I would have to come up with a different strategy.
There is no way that a scuba diver academic based exactly everything you need to know to get the scuba diver certification is equivalent to what you would be able to do in a thorough briefing.
No, not like not a briefing. I mean a short classroom. Like a short classroom session.
I still don't buy it.
My problem with that is that then you're certified to go dive with a dive master.
Yeah, with a dive professional to 40 feet.
So now I did basically Discover Scuba, and I'm going to sign up and go out on the next boat and go out with the dive professional. Well, when you're guiding 6 divers and you're out to whatever, you're at 40 feet with 6 divers in some could be very tough conditions. This person has no real experience. They're not an open water diver. I wouldn't want that person in my group. You know what I mean? I mean, they basically did the Discover, and now you're not on your own. You're with a dive professional, but how close are you with that dive professional? When I'm with a Discover Scuba, I pretty much have hand contact with them the entire time. When I'm with guiding people, they're doing their dive. They're looking around at stuff. I'm showing them stuff. Everybody's swimming all over the place. It's a totally different. I don't know. I'm not in love with the scuba diver idea because of that.
Nobody is. I am.
So does just give it up then? I mean, if no,
that's the majority of my business. That's the most successful program in my business, and I've seen everybody that comes out of my program has been amazing, because what happens is they come and they do the scuba diver program, they do the pool session and the open water, and then I think every single person has gone on to open water scuba diver, but now they're coming on with the idea of, okay, I became a scuba diver. I can dive with a professional all I want. But now, in order to get this next certification, I have to get good enough to where I can be independent, and I don't need to rely on a dive professional, which puts them in a mindset where they're already a step ahead of the people, I think, that just do their entry-level course. And not everybody that does that first open water diver course realizes that they're allowed to go without a dive professional. They're probably not prepared. I don't know many people out of their open water scuba diver course who's like, all right, I'm ready to go diving without a dive professional to 60 feet.
Well, it should be all of them, right? That's what you're certifying.
It should be all of them, but it's not.
Then why are you certifying
them? 10%.
Well, that's on you to certify the people that they should be ready for it. If they're not ready to dive individually, then they're not ready to dive individually. They don't get the open water certification.
And that's when I brought up the scuba diver. But it's the only time I've heard the scuba diver course brought up as somebody who completes the whole open water, but's not quite ready to dive on their own. Listen, you can get a scuba diver certification out of it and go out with somebody. But I've never.
So you're getting.
I've never even.
If you're getting these clients that are like in a rush, right, and they don't have time to do anything, but you are getting folks that are coming down to do their checkout dives, right, to do their open water divers.
Occasionally, right? You get checkout divers.
Yeah, you get like people just there to do open water diver level. How many of them are truly ready to go without a dive professional?
How many certified divers come down here that aren't ready to go without a dive professional is crazy, but I think that's a problem with the system. I don't think that's a problem that the system as a whole has, is these people are taking a course somewhere where they're doing a couple hours in the pool and then, some e-learning, and now I'm ready. I can go off on my own, and they're not. They're not even ready to dive with a professional. I mean, I've had crazy experiences with people who are certified, and I know Luis has too, right?
Yeah.
The certified divers are the worst to the guy, because they believe they know and they don't, and they get themselves in trouble all the time because they're just going to go off and do their own thing, and they really don't know how to dive, and they don't know how to dive in surge and in current and tough conditions, but they don't listen because I'm certified. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I've got 6 dives.
Yeah. Those guys.
Well, and that's the danger, I think, with scuba diver is I'm certified.
Yeah.
I have a certification, where Discover's, you're telling them, listen, this is just to try it out. You don't have any real experience. You have to go take a course now.
Yeah.
And learn how to dive if you like this.
Well, I feel like, Allie, you're about to pull up a comment.
No, it's okay. You're good.
Well, one thing that that you just reminded me of earlier, you were talking about these Discover scuba divers that come in and they're on vacation and they're drinking, and I feel like if you make anybody do any sort of academic classroom or e-learning or whatever, at least now they understand the culture of this is serious. You shouldn't be drinking and diving the next day.
No, I'm
And I-
not saying they're yeah. I mean,
yeah,
they're
but
going out.
Discovery
You
Scuba has
can't
like a
control.
culture of vacation diving, right?
Yeah.
The culture of diving. The show is called The
sometimes-
Dram of Diving. I mean, it's basically promoting drinking and diving.
Yeah, well,
It's all Jason's fault.
And I think sometimes you don't realize that they are drunk as well. Or
Yeah, they've been
they drink a
drinking.
lot.
Yeah, it's hard to tell until you're out on the boat and they're like, "Oh, I don't feel good."
Yeah.
And we have an enormous amount of seasick people that never make it to water. Yeah, I'm sure you get that on your boat, right, Danny? Your conditions can be tough.
No, we just don't invite those people out. You basically
yeah, I haven't been on that boat yet. I haven't been allowed.
it's the schedule's really full. I mean, there's a lot of people. You know,
It's called Boat is Full, is the name of the boat.
Yes. Yeah.
well, it's the name of the company. That's the name of the company. Just to
Other
be fair,
company.
the company's name is Boat is Full, and the boat is called Sidekick. But
Okay.
yeah, you throw up, you wash down the boat enough times with vomit on it, you decide like who's never coming out again. You know,
Yeah.
fairly quickly.
We down here we don't really have that option. People book but it is amazing that it's a huge thing. We lose a
Well,
lot
that's the
of
difference
divers
between
that
trying
never
to-
make it in the water. What's
it's
that?
it's a difference between actually trying to make a money with a dive boat and me just hemorrhaging money with a dive boat. So there's
Yeah, there you go.
So, Kyle, this is the one that I was going to put up a minute ago. He said, I think it's safe to say Discover Scuba is a part of resorts, but ignoring location. Do you think they're a good idea or no? So, what do you guys think?
I think it's absolutely a good idea.
Yeah.
I believe its purpose was meant to just get people in the water, try it, give these resorts that don't have open water sales or mass fin snorkel sales or typical dive retail kind of sales a way to make money. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting people in the water and trying it out. We're one of the only sports that have like these levels of restriction into access into the sport. Like if you want to go skydiving, you can go skydiving tomorrow if you wanted to. The classes are shorter. You're strapped onto an instructor's belly and you're jumping out of a plane within a couple hours. Do you want to go skiing? You could just go skiing. If you want to do any kind of other sport, you could just go do it. So I think the Discovery Scubas are great. And if it makes more people want to go diving and they're going to come and take a class here in New York or wherever they are, I'm all for it. Go take as many discoveries as you want.
I think they're a really good idea if they're done right. I see them abused a lot, and that bothers me. But I think if they're done right, it's a great introduction to sport. I've seen a lot of people come out of it that are like, "This is awesome. I'm gonna go when I get home. I'm gonna go take a scuba diving course," which helps people in New York or wherever they are. They come down here and they see it. And they see the ocean and they see, whatever, a manta ray and all kinds of awesome stuff. Now I'm going to go back and, purchase a course from my local dive shop. And I think that's great. What's your thought?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to get people hooked also with scuba diving. In my personal experience, I had one diver that he came and he did only one dive. And then he came like 2 years after and he wrote his whole equipment, BCD, regulator, fins, wetsuit, everything.
So it made a scuba diver who's really into the sport, which is awesome.
I do think I think they're a good idea. They have their
That was painful.
purpose.
I saw.
However,
You don't have to lie.
this is you have to remember like where I am and what my situation is. I don't think they're a good idea for me, and so I choose not to do them. I think that for me and my staff, it's too much liability with not enough payoff, and I prefer to market scuba diver and get folks to do that one instead, just as a personal decision. If I worked at a resort, probably would make a different decision.
Are we considering the like pool session or like pool only Discover Scuba versus open water Discover Scuba is like the same thing, or are we just for the clarification for the conversation? Are we saying
So
that Try Scuba
pool
is
is
pool only?
Yeah. Also, I think none of us should be saying Discover Scuba because Patty will come and sue us.
Scuba Discovery.
It's like
Yeah.
Try Scuba or Intro to Scuba because
Because
yeah.
so as a PADI instructor, PADI allows well pool only Discover Scubas. Like it's part of the
Yeah.
it's basically part of the curriculum. So,
So does
but
SCI.
they really are two different things, right? There is the Try Scuba or pool only Discover Scuba, and there's open water Discover Scubas, which are two completely different animals.
Yeah.
Right.
And you also run into, speaking of Patty, a dive master taking somebody out for Discover Scuba or an instructor taking somebody out for Discover Scuba. Patty lets a dive master take somebody out. SDI does not. So that's in resort areas, that's a huge bone of contention because financially, the Patty shops can put a lot more divers out there than another agency shop. I don't know what Nowie's opinion is on that. Maybe you do.
Whether they're allowed to.
Can a Nowie dive master take out a Discover Scuba?
Yes, they can. I have my standards up right now. They can. It's called Intro to Scuba. Yeah.
So I actually think it's a good thing that PADI
Oh no!
allows dive
Sorry,
masters.
I said yes. I want to say no. I have to take that back. No, the answer is no. Confined water and controlled water, yes. Open water, no. Sorry, before I put something wrong.
Okay.
So I think it's a good
Go ahead,
thing.
Danny. What you say?
So I think it's a good thing that the dive masters are allowed just for a logistics and a financial reason. Like they're with PADI, you do have to go, especially with the dive masters, you do have to go through additional training to become a dive master leader. So it's not just part of, it could be just part of your regular course the way that you set it up. But it is additional training, it is additional testing. So I don't see any differentiation, any difference between having an instructor do it, Discover Scuba, and a dive master do it if they're trained properly. And if you have them employed with you and you're trusting them with all of your
Teach them
other
right.
things, then they should be doing it the right way. And if they're not doing it the right way, then they shouldn't be employed with you and you shouldn't be trusting them with any of your certified students anyway. So I don't think it makes a difference between a dive master or instructor led difference. That's one of the things I don't like about SDI, where the dive masters are essentially dive guides, where in PADI they're more very like watered down instructors for what they're allowed to do. Even at the assistant instructor level.
That's what I was just going to say. Even at the assistant instructor level, they can't take hotel, which I think is a problem. Yeah. And it is a huge problem in a resort area. It's a very big deal in areas like this.
Just speaking logistically and financially, if I run a shop where I have at the best I might have 4 instructors available and I have 3 or 4 dive masters available. If I could utilize all of them, that'd be amazing, but I can't with certain agencies, or this person can't do this, or this person can do that. This person's certified with 2 different agencies, so they can do that class, or they can't do that class.
Certain agencies, or this person can't do this.
I can't imagine what it's like when you have 1,000 people coming in and wanting to take a Discover Scuba. These people need to get their checkout dives, and these people need to do this class, and these people need to do this, and somebody has to answer the phone or just be in the shop. The more people that I would have available to me, the better.
I think it also leads to these owners of the shop violating standards by saying, well, I only have 2 instructors, but I have these, 7 Discover Scubas. You're going to take more people. You 2 instructors are going to take them all, instead of I have these 4 dive masters just sitting here. I can't use them. So it's going to push them to violate standards because, I have to go with an instructor. So either they're going to send them with a dive master or they're going to send more than they have people available. Because quite often out here, you'll have on the boat, you'll have, 1 or 2 open water students. You'll have 3 or 4 dive masters and 2 certified divers. That takes up a lot of your available staff if they all need separate. You're all going with separate people. So
Well, from what I remember, I think that your ratio increases if you have a dive master.
it does.
They can't go on their own, but
Yeah.
Well, we're talking. So, Allie, the title of the show is putting the lowest professional ratings with the most high risk group. So, what's your opinion on it? You titled the show.
In my opinion.
Danny turns around on Allie.
I'm trying to be
That's what we're gonna do.
I've never done a Discover Scuba actually where I take someone out into the open water after. Only done ones in the pool. So, I mean, I think that I would be comfortable doing a Discover Scuba, but I think it depends on where you go. And I've heard a lot of people who've had great experiences with their Discover Scubas, and I've heard stories where, like Sean had said earlier, they will never ever try diving again because they had poor experiences. So I guess that's like not a true answer, but kind of an answer.
No, it's not really.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, Allie, can a dive master safely conduct Discover Scubas?
According to standards or just in general?
No, we're asking about your opinion. We're not discussing standards here.
So without standards, a dive master that goes through our shop would absolutely be capable of conducting a Discover Scuba. Can I say that for every shop? Maybe not, but
Some dive masters, yes. Some dive masters, no. I mean, we've all dove in various areas in the world and seen some poor dive masters and some awesome dive masters. So, I mean, that's the problem, I guess. Like you said, Patty has additional course. I know Luis had done the additional course through Patty, so he has more insight on it. I don't have any. But, even if you made like an SDI assistant instructor can take them out, they should be able to take out a Discover. Discover's really pretty easy if you're following standards. If you have a person, if you have your hand on that person, you're in the ocean, you have a hand right there, you know what they're doing. They really can't mess up too bad. I mean, anything's possible, but it open waters are by far more, as a dive master or instructor, are by far more dangerous. Not an open water student, a certified open water person. Do you agree?
Yeah. But personally, as a dive master, I took also a lot of DSD, and I don't know. I think it depends how comfortable as a dive master you feel for the moment. And I feel very good, and I took some time for as well, like Nicole.
Yeah.
yeah. We actually have a couple questions from people. So Ron asked, does anyone have experience with try scuba in the pool with kids around the minimum age of 10 years old? Have you guys done?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
We've
How'd it
done
go?
tons of them.
My son got certified at 10 years old.
So do you have thoughts on doing the try scuba with your kids that young before doing the open water class?
Especially in the pool, I think it's fine. I think it's great. Get them in there, get them comfortable. Make sure they have a good instructor or with them that is good with kids and can keep them under control and make them understand what they need to do. I don't see any problem with it.
Actually,
I think-
it's fun because also they don't think, they just act. So whatever you tell it, most of the time, in my personal experience, most of the time, I teach them on a skill, and then they don't even, they just do
Just
it.
do it.
I think it's great. I've been doing try scubas unofficially with my son since he's been 6 years old, and with some of his friends. I think it's absolutely awesome. They're in the water, they're getting comfortable, and especially with the try scubas, since there's no like official standard, there's no agency like oversight on it. You're just basically in the pool with your kid. You can take your time with them. You can get them really comfortable with one skill, and hopefully, when he's old enough and mature, then he'll be a fantastic diver. But the Discover Scubas that I've had with kids have gone so much better than with most of the adults, just because kids are just better divers than most adults. They don't have fear. They don't have to worry about their mortgage. They're just there enjoying the experience. They're some of the best students.
I
Yeah,
have
I agree with Warren.
yeah, Warren, yes, do it. Kids may learn, it's not for them. I think try scuba for kids in the pool is great. Student or kids, like Danny said, some of the best students I've ever had. They're great. They're hilarious. They have very few fears, and they're just totally there to do whatever you're asking them to do because they're really excited. I have a lot of fun with kids teaching them scuba. So, Nicole, what do you? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I love try scubas in the pool. I think that's the best way. As soon as I have so many parents that are waiting until their kid hits 10 just to, do that. It's exciting. Again, I try to get them to do the full course, but
Always upselling like a car salesman. That's fine.
yeah. I mean, I just like the culture just like the added layer of what you're getting yourself into. So
Can I
they take
ask
it
you,
really seriously.
Nicole, what's the price difference between your Discover Scuba and your scuba diver course?
I don't have Discover Scuba.
Wow, so that's the upsell right there.
Yeah.
So we just don't offer it. It's like
Take it or leave it.
yeah.
No, like I said, it's too much for my shop. Especially it's in New York. It's too much liability. The ratios would be too small. Just to go the extra mile and learn a little bit more about scuba, and then
So your place would be more like a steakhouse where you go in and asking for like a chicken nuggets. Say
no
no,
chicken.
sorry.
I don't do chicken nuggets. You order the steak
we only have
no,
Cornish hen.
yeah, but just at the same time, scuba should be accessible. Okay, so I do try scuba in the pool, and then I work.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're saying.
Well, no, you keep
it's
saying
the same
Discover
thing.
Scuba. When I hear Discover Scuba, I think like the agency program. For me, try scuba in the pool. I do that. I do that free. I do that free at community night. So, yes, try scuba in the pool. Yes, try discover scuba and go out into the open water with somebody that hasn't had that much of the learning. Not for me. It has its place. Not for me.
Okay, but we're essentially saying the exact same thing. We're saying a try scuba in the pool is the same thing as a Discover Scuba. So,
yeah,
right? Just for argument's sake.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I just wouldn't do it in open water.
Okay, that's fine. Nobody's telling you to. Nobody's forcing your hand. Nobody's forcing your hand to. All right, so you do those for free. If somebody just wanted to come in and say, "Hey, Nicole, I heard so much about you. I want to do a try scuba with you." All right, and they're even calling it the correct thing. They're not calling it a Discover Scuba. How much do you charge them?
I do those free during community night, and we do it. It's like
I'm not available
thing.
community night. Just what's the normal? You wouldn't do it.
I don't do
otherwise.
it then. No, I don't. I mean, I don't. It might be a good idea. I just don't have it set up that way.
So why do you only do it free on community nights? Is that the full availability?
Yeah. Plus, community nights are run through a nonprofit, so that's how we do it.
And what's the goal of
dedicated to accessibility in scuba, diversity, accessibility, equity in scuba. So it's easier that way.
So the goal is to get them to sign up for or continue, right? So they got to try it in the pool, and then hopefully they continue. That's the conversion.
The goal is to connect them to the underwater world in any way they see.
Through buying the scuba diver course.
They don't have to buy it. They can keep coming back on community night, and they can come to our community events.
So if they show up to enough community nights, can they get their scuba diver certification through?
That's a great question. We are looking towards scholarships and the like, but no, it doesn't work that way, that they can just keep showing up at community nights and get the certification course.
Well, all you got to do is just give them the e-learning prior to, and they're basically there, right? Aside from the 2 dives. I'm following your course. This is all. I'm just trying to think it through. Sorry. Go ahead. What were we talking about?
Discover Scuba.
Yeah, discovered scuba. Whether or not try scuba is great. Yes, I love it. I think it's so valuable that, I have people come in and just try on the equipment.
Cool. Sean and Louise, do you guys think that a try scuba and discover scuba for our purposes are the same for tonight? Our purposes for this show?
I always, when I was in New York, considered the pool dives a scuba discovery. Yes. But down here, no, it's a much different animal when you're taking somebody out in the ocean. Even in New York, where I used to teach with Allie, we would, if you were to take somebody for an actual scuba discovery in the lake, way different than taking somebody out in the ocean. Because it's, we're going out on a boat. You got to go, it's just it's more. It's much more to ask a person who's never done scuba before.
I think it's totally different.
Yeah.
In a pool, you get them comfortable, but here, as I told you before, we do it in the ocean as well, and that's the experience that
And
I
seeing
think is.
fingernails and band-aids in the pool compared to seeing all kinds of awesome wildlife out in the ocean is. I've seen people get so hooked. I had a person. We basically were 4 feet underwater. We're just going down down the line, and you look down, and we're getting circled by eagle rays. I mean, that's right away. This guy's hooked. He wants to come back. He wants to take open water lessons. Granted, it's not going to be like that every time, but when you go in the pool, it's a cool experience. But you're in a pool. It's not.
Yeah, or freshwater. It's kind of the same idea, right?
I love looking at the layer of
I know
dead
you hate
skin
freshwater, Danny.
on the bottom of the pool at the
What's
Y.
that?
I said I personally love looking at the layer of dead skin at the bottom of the pool at the Y. That's like I'd rather go look at that any day than stupid eagle rays.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say
stick
band-aids
these
is like a
nails
good
figure it
day.
out.
Gum. Yeah.
We typically have hypodermic needles where we're diving, but it's kind of the same thing.
We have another good question. We have a couple. Okay. So Marty asked, I guess it's not a question, but just a thought. So if only instructors could teach Discover Scubas, would it cause the destination or resort area to rush someone up to instructor in order to handle the volume of customers, creating a possible undertrained instructor?
Yes, of course. They're already doing it with dive masters. Why wouldn't they do it with the instructors? Next question.
You guys all agree? Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, it is a little harder to rush somebody to instructor because it costs a lot more and it's a lot more difficult. I mean, you have to bring 2 people in, depending on where you are. Being down here in Costa Rica, if you want somebody to be an instructor, you have to have, your course director, and then you need the instructor and you got to, for the most part, fly those people in. There's not a lot of people in country. So it's way more difficult, which also limits them significantly. So, you get a person who's making a living down here as a dive master when they want to be an instructor. So it's a big jump. It's a costly venture.
Or essentially, they would just change agencies where they were allowed to do whatever they needed to do. So
Which is what
that's
happened.
probably the easier route to go with than running or making new instructors. Just change to the agent, not Patty. I didn't mean to say that out loud. Just change to whatever agency is going to make it easier.
They all go to a particular agency for that. For that is a main driver. Yeah, that's a big driver anyway.
Do you guys have those same challenges in New York for moving up to instructor? Like,
What do you mean by challenges?
course directors and instructor trainers, or is that not so much a problem for where you guys are?
What exactly?
For if someone wants to move up from dive master to instructor, is it difficult for them in terms of finding a course director and an instructor trainer, or is that in easy driving distance for you guys?
Danny and I both do that, so
Both?
yeah.
Well,
Both?
it could be difficult because you need to have a second for SDI. You need to have a second course director or instructor trainer to be able to sign off on your student. So there are times where students have to travel either out of state or they're looking for classes. I've seen it on the forums where other instructor trainers are looking for people in the Midwest or where there's not this this density of instructor trainers available, or these IDCs that are available. Other agencies are a bit better when it comes to how many IDCs they have or instructor exams that they have all over the country scheduled fairly regularly, where it's a lot easier to become an instructor through certain agencies than others. But it's not as difficult as flying somebody into the country to be able to do it. So
Okay.
Yeah, I
it's
guess in
tough.
that vein, yeah, no, it just is difficult to access higher education.
Scuba Shack Radio. They wanted to know what the conversion rate from Discover Scuba to open water scuba diver is.
I can't believe you let them into the podcast. This is like a competitor saying like, "Hey,
I've never heard of them, so
wow, that's a
Yeah, that was
I just started watching the Great Dive podcast, guys. That's
Oh,
new as of like a month ago. I mean, I don't know.
Conversion rate from Discover Scuba is like in general or like at a particular shop.
Well, I did like a quick Google, and I think that would require more digging in general. But like for what you guys see, I'm sure for resorts, you
we
don't.
have no idea because they go back and do. Most of the people go back to where they're from, I would say, right, and do an open water course. Occasionally, we have people come back and they'll do a Discover and come back next year on vacation and take an open water course. But I would say, you agree, most of the people go back wherever they came from and take an open water.
Yeah.
Today I had a girl and she did it great under the water, but she's leaving tomorrow, so she's gonna take the open water in the States.
Yeah.
So we did a. Oh,
Go ahead,
go ahead,
Danny.
Nicole. No.
I was just going to say, I don't know Discover Scuba to open water, but I do know that open water to continuing
Scuba.
education is over 50%. It's like around 60 or more, around there.
So we did a few years ago. We ran when a Groupon we actually ran it through like Amazon. I think Amazon, where we had a special on our Discover Scubas where we discounted it slightly, and in one day we had close to like 30 or 40 people sign up for it. This is just for the tri dives, and over the course of the year we had close to 200 to 300 within that range. Somewhere, I don't remember the exact number of people actually doing a tri scuba for that year, which was a complete disaster. I wasn't prepared for doing it because I was doing every single one of them on my own. It was the worst idea I've ever had in my life. But our conversion rate from if you came in as a single diver, going from the Discover Scuba, that first pool session, to the actual course, we had a conversion rate of 90%. And if you came in as a couple, the conversion rate went down to like 8%. Because you had the other person convincing them like, no, this is not for me, and they didn't want to. They wanted to do it together, and if not both people were on board, they didn't continue. But the single person, not necessarily single, but they just came by themselves to do it. It was 90% conversion rate. We had like an amazing year of converting people from Discover Scubas to open water.
That's your conversion rate though, right? Like.
Yeah, but I'm trying to answer the question best I can, Nicole.
No, I guess that's
just,
like
just coming at me like that. This Scuba Shack Radio wants to ask something. I'm not.
Well, I feel like the question, like, what's the conversion rate? I feel like it'll vary from shop to industry wide. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a boring answer. I'm trying to give a better one. So.
Well, Well, if they're
I would-
doing it with Danny, then it's 90%. If they're
If you're
doing it
by
with
yourself.
someone else,
If you
I
come
would
with
say
a
down
local-
here. I mean, I don't know what the actual end results are, but the people who say they're going to go take open water is the people who should, because there's a lot of people who sign up for scuba discovery who should not take open water afterwards, and they usually realize it. The people who are comfortable in the water and actually should do open water, the amount of people that tell us they're going to is very high. But I have no idea. They go back to Europe or the States or wherever they come from, and we have no way to follow up on that. Other than when, like Luis said, we occasionally see them come back and they've got all their gear and they're all in, and they tell us that a couple of years ago they did Discover with us and they loved it. And, other than that, we really have no hard numbers.
Yeah, it's very difficult because the people who get certified here, or most of them, they already know from before that they want to get certified, so they come here and they do it.
Yeah, it's part of their vacation. The people who actually take open water, it's part of their vacation plan, is to come here and take an open water course.
Yeah.
Not many people down here take a scuba discovery, and then say, "Oh, I'm going to sign up for open water." Almost zero, I would say.
We have a lot of people that come in from Discover Scubas just wherever they've gone on vacation, and I usually ask, like, have you ever done a Discover Scuba, or have you ever been on scuba before? And we get a lot of people that come in and have done scuba discoveries before. So I mean, I don't know what the ratio is, but we get a decent number of people. It's a little skewed because we work with one of the local universities, so a lot of them haven't done it. But yeah, so that was a great question.
We
Also, go ahead.
we also get the weird, I guess weird, I call it weird, people who say, this is my 8th Discover Scuba. I'm like,
Yeah.
Take a course. You've done 8 scuba discoveries. Take the open water course.
Yeah.
Keep showing up to community night, and they'll get your card.
Yeah.
it's not how it works.
But I think they feel more comfortable with an instructor than also with an agile master.
Yeah. So those people are the ones that I want this guy right at my side. I want to pay for that more one-on-one experience. I don't want to. If I take an open water course, I got to go off with the rest of the divers. I don't want that. I want to pay for this instructor or dive master to be right at my side and take care of everything for me. I don't want to really, which I disagree with, but that's what some people like.
Also,
I've on
Oh,
the panel
Allie.
with Jason. That is not the name to drop, basically, in this group. This is we all know better. That's a weird flex,
listen, I'm gonna listen to Scuba Shack Radio, and I googled it, and it says that
I'm gonna listen.
it's hosted by Jeff. So if this is Jeff, I promise that I will watch it. So
Hi, Jeff.
or listen. And they also liked your guys' answer, so that's cool.
Okay.
Robbie says, the dive industry needs quality control on instructors and DMs to make Discover Scuba diving safe. What do you guys think about that?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it needs it to make sure open water divers are safe too, but.
Is that a question?
He could have stopped halfway through the sentence. The dive industry needs quality control. End of sentence.
Fair.
Next.
I guess there's no question, but I just thought it was an interesting thing. Go with that. Yeah.
Well, going back to it, just has to. It's like the culture of the shop is the most important. The culture of the business. What's your, I know that Danny takes his stuff seriously, but not. Some people are just like scuba factories.
Fair.
Yeah, and we see those people down here a lot that come down, and you always know because they tell you how good a diver they are, and they're scary in the water. It's very difficult.
Kyle says, if everyone did what they were supposed to, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We'd be defunded.
Again, there's no question. There's just a statement. Like,
Yeah.
we're the questions people.
Questions, people. There are.
Come on, Kyle.
What?
No, let's go ahead.
This is not. We have a very aggressive statement about scuba discovery.
Let's hear it. Let's get aggressive.
And again, it's
Throw it up there.
a question, Danny. I'm really sorry.
Let's get weird.
The people that teach Discovery Scuba are the type of people that teach snorkeling. Hashtag defund snorkeling.
Oh, Justin.
Is he
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
States?
he's. You know what? I think
Justin?
he's actually 100% right.
I'm guessing.
Ooh,
I'm going to agree with Justin on this one.
you're gonna agree with that.
Yep. Because they're the people that are like actually running a business and like teaching these classes. So yeah.
Okay.
Trying to survive. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Do you guys teach snorkeling?
I'm a freediving instructor, so we do that. It's like
Same thing, right?
It's tech snorkeling.
A little different than snorkeling.
No, it's tech
Same.
snorkeling.
It is the
Technical.
exact same thing.
You don't have a
Tech
tank, it's the same.
snorkeling.
I think
Yeah.
freediving sounds not fun. It sounds terrifying. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not good at holding my breath, so.
I think they call the course free diving just to be able to say, oh, it's not a snorkeling course, but yeah, it's a snorkeling course.
it's technical snorkeling, okay?
Sure, okay. You want to call it? We can call it whatever we want. It's still a snorkeling course.
Sean and Luis, do you guys
We
teach?
do have a lot of snorkelers down here, but you don't teach snorkeling. Yeah.
Nah.
Nobody. I mean, you get in the water and you're snorkeling. Put your face in the water and you swim around with a little pool noodle. It's yeah. I don't know anybody down here that does the actual snorkeling class with the e-learning,
Yeah,
but I know it's available.
I kind of
Snorkeling
want to
e-learning.
check out. Yeah, I want to. I
There
kind of
is.
learning now just to know.
On the other hand, I will say some people do need snorkeling e-learning.
You know what? Now that I think of it, I've taught one of those.
Yes.
Interesting. Maybe I'll use like one of my bonus e-learnings when I renew for SEI for a snorkeling e-learning.
Snorkeling class. I would.
So, smartass Kyle does have a question, Danny.
He's excited about it too. There's an
Yeah,
exclamation
he
point.
is. You've all talked about scuba discovery being done right, but besides poor ratios, how do you see the programs getting abused? Anybody? Nobody?
Vacation culture for me, just like
You
being
don't like
hungover.
vacations?
Well, no, just showing up hungover to a scuba dive. It's just that's for me is abuse.
That's why you're not allowed on the boat.
I know.
So I told you guys I work with one of the local universities, and I haven't had any problems yet with that, but the last 2 semesters, our open water dives have fallen on like very important partying holidays, and I always have to be like, guys, I know you want to get shit-faced tonight, but we have open waters tomorrow, and you're not allowed to. Like, I'm really sorry.
Well,
So
Tamarindo, Costa Rica is an important partying holiday, right?
I don't think there's any other real way to abuse the Discover Scuba system, right? Aside from poor ratios,
Yeah.
which I don't know what that means.
Poor ratios, taking too many divers. I mean,
yeah, I would say
more divers. I personally feel it's unsafe if you can't put a hand on each diver. That's just my personal opinion. But other than poor ratios, and I guess if somebody violated depth limits or something like that, I mean, how else are you abusing Discover Scuba?
What about poor ratios at also not doing enough pool work or prep work before taking them out into like real diving?
Yeah. And like Warren's saying, poor conditions. So that is a problem here. We go out, they pay for their Discover Scuba, we go for an hour boat ride, and you never know what the conditions are going to be when you get out there. And you show up out there, and the wind's whipping or the visibility's bad. Do you just go snorkel?
Free dive.
Free dive. They didn't take a class, so they can't free dive.
That's the difference.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's all relative, right? So poor conditions for you could be different from poor conditions for me, and it's completely doable. Uh, and the sport that we're in, we can't guarantee pool like conditions unless you're only doing pool like dives. So
That's true.
there's going to be some variability in there. Uh, but even like if I'm not personally against a 4-to-1 ratio for Discover Scubas. Um, Again, I have very, very limited experience with doing them out in open water. But if you have a dive master or an instructor that you trust with 8 to 12 students, then there shouldn't be an issue with 4. Uh, 2, I think, is quite limited. I understand where that number comes from. Uh, but again, I don't really see like any real way to abuse the Discover Scuba program aside from taking out 20 people at a time just to try to get in as many people as you possibly can. The prep beforehand, what we're basically offering for Discover Scuba is you have a 2-3 hour session in the pool, or I assume if that much, and then we're going to go out and do these 2 open water dives. That's what you're offering. The that's the service that you're offering. If you wanted to make it a 8-hour course in the pool with a 12-hour classroom, and then we're going to do 4 open water dives, then you're selling a completely different service. So I don't think it's fair to call them like the same thing. Like they need more prep time in the pool. Yeah, of course they need to take a course eventually, but the service that you're selling is a 2-hour pool session and some diving. Let's go try it out
When
and
I
see what it is.
when I worked at a resort, it was not 2 hours. It was a lot less than 2 hours, and we had to do it before the afternoon dives. And sometimes people just weren't ready to go. They would do the pool morning, and yeah, then it's time to get on the boat. And
Did they go whether they were ready or not?
yeah, yep, they sure did.
So
Wasn't
who's that
ready.
on then?
It's on everybody. If something bad right, like it's not like you're certifying them where if there's an accident they're going to trace to how well their open water diver instructor prepared them. Like if there's an accident,
I disagree. If there's an accident and you said to somebody or somebody heard you say, "Well, they're not ready, but we're going," because that happens. I think you're incredibly liable, just as much as if they tracked back your open water and you didn't think they're ready and you certified them.
oh no, I agree. I do think that you're liable. It's just wasn't a great situation in general.
It's
But
not.
that person
And
only had that one day and they had to do it, and then they pressured everybody and you don't want to disappoint them. So
and that's a problem with the industry as a whole is people are trying to make a living and the boss says you're going to get these people on the boat because they paid, and this is your job. I mean, you say no, there's 20 other dive master instructors out there. I'll just get somebody else. Right? I mean, you see that quite often. Luis has got his own shop, so he can control that. But when you don't, you have, if you're not on your own, you have no control. You have very little control other than saying no and losing your job.
Yeah, but that goes for any industry or any job, right? If your boss or it's telling you to do something unethical or illegal,
But
you
the
have to make
difference
that
is
choice
this
whether you
one.
leave.
we can kill people.
Yeah,
Well, there's a
exactly.
lot of
This
them
one,
like
this
that.
one, there is a lot of them you can kill people, but it's wrong all the way around. But it is a problem as a whole. But I don't know how it's a difficult thing to fix. You're never going to fix that.
Until you open up your own shop and
Until you
stop
open up your
doing
own shop
that.
and provide a better product, and hopefully more people go to you. But unfortunately, from what I've seen, is that's not how it goes. If you say no, you have to do the pool session and you have to be good enough to go out in the open water, they'll go, well, that shop just let me go right to the open water. I'm going to go with them. And you'd be amazed how many people like that. No, the other shop just said I can go out. Well, then go with them. But if it's your job, if it's your business, it's a tough thing to do.
So we are gonna wrap up. You guys made a lot of interesting points and did a lot of interesting things while on video, like ripping the shoes off of like a baby doll. So thank you for that.
That was my daughter. Hi, Layla. Layla, you want to say hi?
Wait, what's her name?
Layla.
Also a Layla? Jason's daughter's name is Layla.
I think he named her first. I didn't know.
Danny's in love
at
with
that time.
Jason. Danny's in love with Jason. This time, everybody knew.
It's not that I'm in love with him, but it's just I admire him so much. You know, it's.
Wow, how could you not?
I just wish he had more hair. That's really it. That's like.
And we're not going to go there.
Oh, sorry, man.
You could flip off your weird little tiny man ponytail, Danny, and then
I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore. It's,
Oh, it's not
thank
back there
God.
anymore.
no, I got rid of the band bud.
That off, and you could have glued it right onto his little bald head.
I don't like your tone when you said that, but okay, we're gonna move on.
So do I. Comes on to defend his hairless head. Noggin.
Oh, he has internet access wherever he's at. All right.
You should see when he comes back from like Mexico and it's all red and peely because he doesn't have hair there. It's really funny.
He doesn't have hair a lot of places. What?
What
were you saying?
I thought you were just drinking herbal tea.
Right.
I don't need to be drunk to be in love.
Final closing question from Robbie, just so we're all clear. Should the standards for Discover Scubas change? And I'm assuming that's for open water, not try scuba in the pool. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Nicole thinks yes.
I guess. I mean, you can change the standards, but you won't change culture. Maybe allowing the dive masters to do it. We were talking about that earlier. And two, yeah, like I said, you can change standards, you can't change culture. Just because you increase or decrease standards, that might affect some people differently, but it won't, stop the people that are churning out poor divers. Like standards changes won't do that.
They're fine.
Oh. What do you think? Sorry. You said they're fine.
He said you're
I
fine.
agree with Nicole as well. No. I agree with Nicole. We can change the standard, but we cannot change the people. So I agree with Nicole.
Okay. Sean?
Yeah, there's not that much over. It's just like open water. I mean, you have their standards, and the students, your shop turnout may be incredibly different than the students in another shop turnout. The standards are a basis that you entrust your instructors to do correctly, but the whole the mastery of skills, well, that varies greatly. So I don't know. I think we should have something below instructor that can take out a Discover. I don't necessarily think it needs to be a dive master, but maybe like an assistant instructor or something for SDI. I know Patty allows it, but something so you don't have all your instructors out with scuba discoveries instead of with students.
Okay. Danny? And the last one.
No, they're fine.
They're fine. Okay. Okay. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to wrap it up. We're over an hour. I'm going to throw you guys in the waiting room. Wait. And I'll be right there, okay? Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our topic and our guests and our discussions about scuba discovery and shop owners' daughters' names and dolls and things like that. So thank you guys so much. Join us next week. Not next week. I think it's 2 weeks from now, December 7th and December 14th. however long from now that is. Jason's going to pop in actually and do a couple shows. One of them is going to be about truck, which is his most recent trip that he just got back from. Definitely tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. If you are watching on YouTube, you can press the like and subscribe button, which is right over here. Again, thanks so much. Happy holidays. Thank you.